श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः भक्तियोगः। अर्जुन उवाच एवं सततयुक्ता ये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तं तेषां के योगवित्तमाः। श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवं सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः। क्लेशोऽधिगतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्विरवाप्यते। ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसां मय्येव मनः धत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अथ ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः। अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततः मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखः क्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षशुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोष्यति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान् यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धदानामत्परमाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः। ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे भक्तियोगो नाम द्वादशोऽध्यायः। सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः। हरि ओं तत्सत् हरि ओं तत्सत् हरि ओं तत्सत्।
Thank you. Namaste. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
And can you see me okay?
Yes.
And can you see the screen?
Yes, doctor.
Thank you. Namaste. Om. 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 Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Sabhayai Namaha. Shri Matre Namaha, Go Matre Namaha, Gita Matre Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Jaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayamudirayet. As you can see, in Sanskrit, we saluted Ganesha, the remover of all obstacles. Mother Saraswati, goddess of knowledge and wisdom. And we said Gurubhyo Namaha, the Guru lineage, all the Gurus and Gurus' Gurus. And Sabhayai Namaha, so this Sabha, this August assembly, and all of you, and the Mother of Mothers. So now we'll be celebrating Mother's Day here on Sunday. So to all mothers and Mother of all mothers. So in Lalita Sahasranama, it begins with Shri Mata, Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni, Srimat Simhasaneshwari. So Mother of all mothers. Ammala Gannayamma Mugurammala Mula Putamma in Telugu we say. And Go Mata, Go means cow, Go means Bhumi, Go means Vedas, Veda Mata. And Gita Mata, and Shri Krishna Parabrahma, Krishna Bhagavan, who taught this as that absolute Brahman, Parabrahma, Paramatma Swarupa. That's why this is called Bhagavad Gita, not Krishna Gita. And author Vyasa, who has penned this down with the help of Ganesha as a scribe in the midst of Mahabharata. That is Bhagavad Gita. So it is customary in some sampradaya, in some traditions, to do this study of Bhagavad Gita with 12th chapter. And Bhagavatam is studied taking up the 10th canto first, Dashamaskanda. And Valmiki Ramayana is studied taking up Sundarakanda to begin with, and then starting from Balakanda, or first Kanda. So one Swamiji last Thursday asked me to follow this tradition. So that's why we are doing 12th chapter, and this will be covered again in the series after our 11th chapter, when we will understand it a little bit better, because it goes in a flow. And why is it said to study this first? Because it has only 20 verses, and all of the verses are in Anushtup Chandas, which are very easy to chant or learn. And then I stopped sharing. Then Swami Chinmayananda says, whatever has to be said about bhakti has been said in 18 verses. And as we talked about, Vyasa is very fond of number 18. 18 means Jaya, numerologically. So how 1-8? So in Sanskrit, we can read backwards also, 8-1. So Mahabharata is also called Jaya. And Ja comes from Ka Varga, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nya, Cha, Cha, Ja. So Ja is the 8th letter in that group of Ka Varga, Ka, which begins with Ka. So Ja is 8. Then Ya. Ya Varga is there. Ya, Va, Ra, La, Va. So that Ya Varga, Ya is the first. So 8-1, if you look at this way. So Jaya. Jaya. Ja is 8 and then Ya is 1. But if you read from right to left, so it is Jaya. And 18 is 8 plus 1, 9. Numerologically is very, very successful number, the highest number that you can imagine in numerology, highest single digit. So in 18 verses, in 12th chapter, everything has been packed into. Then the very first verse is a question by Arjuna. And the last verse is Phalashruti. So 20 verses. And out of 20 verses, the question is taken and the Phalashruti is taken and the content is in 18 verses. I may not be able to cover all 18 verses, but I'll introduce this chapter and then I'll give a little background. And then again, we can cover some of it which is not covered today. When we go through the 12th chapter again after 11th chapter. So Bhagavad Gita, according to some commentators, is expansion of Mahavakya. Mahavakya, the great teachings in one sentence, Upadesha. So these Mahavakyas, there are 4 famous ones, and so 5th one is included also. That is Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. Brahma means not Brahmaji, not Chaturmukha Brahma. So Brahman. Why is it called Brahma? Bruhatvat Brahma. Because it is so grand. I mean, it's so difficult to imagine, explain. That's why Bruhatvat Brahma. Brahman. Or Brahmanatvat, because it is all encompassing and all inclusive. That's why it's Brahmanatvat Brahma. So Prajnanam Brahma. So the knowledge and experience of this Brahman and implementing in our life is Brahman, Prajnanam Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atma, what we call Atma means Atti iti Atma, the one which devours everything. Or all pervading is Atma. Okay, all pervading is Atma. So Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atman is Brahman. Then the Guru teaches Tattvamasi. Guru teaches us Tattvamasi. Tat means that Brahman, we don't know what to call. He, she, it. So we called it that. Tat. So Tat Tvam Asi. That thou are. Then the student will meditate upon, contemplate upon, try to understand, and then comes to a realization that, oh, Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. That aha moment when we realize that, oh, that is me. Aham Brahmasmi. I am that Brahman. Then Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. So these are Mahavakyas. So Tat Tvam Asi. So Tat means that. So that is dealt with from chapter 7 to chapter 12. So the 6 chapters in the Bhagavad Gita, Shatka it's called. So all this is Bhakti Shatka. Then Tvam, which deals with you and me, Tvam means thou, you and me, is dealt with in first 6 chapters, 1 to 6. So Tat, Tvam. So Asi is Anusandhana, how these two can be put together. How? That is thou, and thou art that. So this is explained in the last 6 chapters. So Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi, Shatkatrayam. So Karma Shatka, Bhakti Shatka, and Jnana Shatka. So the 13th chapter onwards, it's a Jnana Shatka. And now I shall share the screen. And can you see? Can someone say yes? I hope you can see the screen.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, then I have to... Okay. Can you see now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that is explaining the yoga of devotion is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga. And as I said, these names are not given by Vyasa Maharshi, but rishis gave these names. And you can see how each chapter's name is so self-explanatory and all-encompassing in that name. You know, what is in name? I think there is a movie, Namesake, or what's in a name. If I say Sindoor, see, I mean, what is in a name? Sindoor speaks of everything. Okay, similarly, Bhakti Yoga, so speaks about Bhakti. But what is Bhakti? Bhakti, you will see, it is not defined by your attire or your Veshadharana, your Aharya, or going to temple every day, or doing all the rituals. So we will see what Bhakti means. So Bhaja is a root word for Bhakti, Bhaja. Bhaja in Sanskrit, so if you see the etymology of Bhakti, Bhaja Sevayam. Bhaja means Seva. Seva means serve. Probably the English word serve came from Seva. Seva. Bhaja Sevayam. But what is Bhakti? Shankaracharya defines Bhakti in such a very clear, understanding way. Swaswarupa anusandhanam bhakti iti abhidhiyate. Swa means our own self. Swarupa, our own nature. What is our innate nature, inner nature, the original nature? We just heard from Guru, thou art that. That is you, Tattvamasi. Then, when we contemplate, we see this Jivatma is nothing but Paramatma. And I did send some messages, and in that, Hanuman answers all this in such a beautiful, beautiful way. It is very important to understand that. When Rama asks Hanuman, Hanuman replies, what is the relationship between you and me? Who are you and who am I? And Hanuman answers, Deha bhavena tava dasoham. Deha bhavena tava dasoham. From the body point of view, from the body standpoint, I am your servant. Jiva bhavena aham tvadamsakaha. From Jivatma point of view, I am your spark, amsha. And Atma bhavena tvamevaham tvamevaham. From soul point of view, from this Atman point of view, I am you and you are me. And that's Swaswarupa anusandhanam bhaktiriti abhidhiyate. So how we get to that? That is a process described in the 12th chapter. So Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam Bhaktiriti Apare Jaguhu. So same thing. Swatma Tattva Anusandhanam. Contemplating upon our own tattva, our own nature. Then Shankaracharya elsewhere also says, Moksha sadhana samagryam bhaktireva gariyasi. Please don't get overwhelmed by Sanskrit words, but it's so beautiful. See, moksha sadhana. Sadhana means practice. So practice to get this moksha. Moksha means what? Liberation. Liberation means what? Liberating from the mundane things, from less important things. Okay, so that's, we say, viraga or vairagyam. Raga means intense attachment to less important things. And Vishesha Raga to something more important. So that is moksha. Moksha in one word, if I have to say, moha kshaya. Moha kshaya. Very easy to remember. Moha means delusion. We are thinking that we are something which we are not. That is moha. Moha kshaya. The removal of that feeling, that thinking, that experience is moksha. So moha kshaya is moksha. Just to remember, okay? So that's Mohakshaya is moksha. So moksha sadhana samagryam, of all the equipment we have for this moksha sadhana, bhakti reva gareyasi. Bhakti is ultimate. Bhakti is greater. Bhakti is very important. Now I'll give you some examples. Okay. So these are various examples from our Puranas. Purana means not the ancient one. That is one meaning. Purana means ancient. But the greater meaning of Purana is Pura api nava iti. Even though it's ancient, it is ever pertinent. So this is Vyadha. Vyadha and Kaushika. The story goes like this. Kaushika is one of the sages who hasn't conquered his anger yet. So, like many of us, including me. So when he was doing penance under a tree, so there is a dropping from a crow on his body. Then his penance is disturbed, and then he looks at so angrily at that crow, and the crow is turned into ashes. Then it's lunchtime, and then he wants to go to, take some alms and beg for some alms. Then he goes to a house and then asks Bhavati Bhikshandehi. And then that household woman says, can you please wait? I'll be there in a moment. And then she comes a few minutes later, and then he gets so angry. I came 5 minutes ago and 10 minutes ago. How come you delayed so much? She said, I had to attend to my husband, and don't get angry. I'm not that, I know. Oh, he says, do you know who I am? I says, I know who you are. You do not know who I am. And I am not that crow who is turned into ashes by your looks. Then the sage gets so amused, so astonished. How does she know about this crow? So then he again surrenders to her and says, okay, mother, teach me something. And she says, no, I'm not a teacher. I just do my household work. But there is this dharma vyadha. You go to him and then he teaches. And he thought, so he's dharma vyadha, great rishi maybe. And when he goes there, he actually sees this butcher. So profession is butchering. So he's a butcher by profession. And he says, can you please wait? Let me just finish my work and take care of my customers. Then he goes inside and he takes care of his parents. And then he comes and teaches what is practical and what is right, what is duty, what is responsibility. So that is dharma. Then here Dhruva is a young boy, very young boy. Again, whatever I can cover, I'll cover today. But Dhruva is a very young boy, and all he wanted was to sit on the lap of his father. But his stepmother's son was already sitting there, and then somehow the stepmother had more authority, and then she wouldn't let Dhruva to sit on his king daughter's Uttanapada's lap. Then Dhruva gets so upset, and then and then his mother says, Suniti, why don't you go into the forest and then just do tapas on Vasudeva? And then he doesn't know what to do. He just goes into forest, and then Narada Maharshi comes. Now say, hey, little boy, Dhruva, where are you going? Oh, I want to do penance, and please, Vasudeva. Okay, so do you know who Vasudeva is? No, I don't know. My mother said, and I'm determined to do it. So that's where he gets his name, Dhruva, the one with the determination. Then he gives this great mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So that is Dhruva. And then, of course, Vishnumurti appears, and he doesn't know how to praise and what to say. He actually touches Dhruva's cheek with conch, and then Dhruva speaks, and such a great Dhruvastuti. It's in Bhagavatam. So, Yo anta pravishya. So that's how it goes. A great mantra. So whenever the time comes, I'll tell that verse. Then Gajendra. So Gajendra, we know Gajendra Mokshana, and this is given a status of Gita. Gajendra Mokshana. There are Panchagitas. So in Mahabharata. So then Kubja is woman with hunchback. When Krishna comes to Mathura. Then he actually sees this, and then he just turns this Kubja into a beautiful lady when she surrenders to Krishna with all humility, Then Kuchela, we know most of us, Kuchela or Sudama. Kuchela means, Chela means cloth which is stone. Ku means stone. Chela means cloth. Kuchela, that's how he gets his name. But he was a childhood friend of Krishna. And he wouldn't go to Krishna to ask anything, but by force from his wife. He goes to Krishna, but he forgets to ask. He just takes some poha, and then in return, he gets so much of riches. But he is not infatuated by the riches, but the greatness of the spiritual richness which Krishna graces upon him. And Vidura is born to Vyasa and the servant lady, the maid in palace of Gandhari. So Vidura was born, and Vidura Niti is a great text again in Mahabharata. So now we'll see this, okay? They're all put in a beautiful verse. Now you'll easily understand. Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrasya ka. Vyadhasya, Vyadha is Dharma Vyadha. Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo, Vayas means age. Dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrasya ka. Which school did Gajendra go to? What did Gajendra study? And what's the age of Dhruva? And what is the profession of Vyadha? Kubjaya kimunama rupamadhikam. And Kubja, how beautiful was she? Kim tat sudham no dhanam. How much of riches Kuchela had, Sudhama had. Vamshako vidurasya. Vidura's Vamsha is what? What is his caste? To who was he born? Yadavapate Ugrasya Kim Paurusham. Ugrasena Maharaja is a father of Kamsa. He was put in prison, but he was released by Krishna after Kamsa was killed by Krishna. So Bhaktya Tushyati Kevalam Nachagunair Bhakti Priyo Madhavaha. So this bhakti, the intense attachment and intense attraction, and which is inexplicable and which is beyond our control. So that is a relation. So that is unconditional love they all had towards Madhava. So once more this verse. Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrasya ka kubjaya kimunama rupamadhikam kim tat sudham no dhanam vamshako vidurasya yadavapate rugrasya kim paurusham bhaktya tushyati kevalam nachagunair bhakti priyo madhavaha. That is the beauty of bhakti. And Narada Bhakti Sutras, we have Sutra means aphorism. A lot of messages packed in one small sentence. So a lot of Bhagavad Gita shlokas are like sutra praya, like sutras. So sutram is alpaksharam, very little words. Alpaksharam. Asandigdham, there is no doubt when you say that. Then Vishwato Mukham, it is so universally applicable. So that is the sutras greatness. So we have Narada Bhakti Sutras, we have Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and we have Vyasa's Brahma Sutras. So here Narada begins Bhakti Sutra with this great line. Athato bhaktim vyakhyāsyāmaha. Now, therefore, after knowing a little bit about this, karma, bhakti and jnana, we shall explain what bhakti is. Now, what is it? Sa means bhakti. Bhakti is feminine word, so that's why we say sa. If it is masculine, we say saha. So sa, that bhakti, in fact, indeed, tu Asmin Parama Prema Rupa. unconditional love towards that higher consciousness, cosmic consciousness. So Amrita Swarupacha, it is so nectarine also. Yat labdva puman siddho bhavati, amruto bhavati, trupto bhavati. After reaching that stage, puman means human. Puman, human probably came from Puman. So Purusha and Stri together. So Siddha Bhavati, attained everything. Amruto Bhavati, remains immortal. And Trupto Bhavati, well contented, well satisfied. And Shankaracharya describes the relation between Bhakta and Deva. And Bhakti to this Paramatma or Bhagavan can be Akara or Sakara or Nirakara. So Nirakara worship with no form, and Sakara worship is with form and name. So we'll come to that. So, but whoever we call that Paramatma now, and the relation of the devotee to the God, let us say God, because the one who has a power of generation, operation and dissolution, G-O-D, easy to explain. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Karaka, generator, operator and dissolver. So now, how we are so drawn towards because of our Purva Janma Sukritam, and because of our innate nature, and because of our modes of the Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna put together. So how we are drawn towards the Bhagavan is described with some examples here by Shankaracharya in Sivananda Lahari. So this Ankola Vriksha, when the fruits are fallen and when the seeds are fallen here, they are drawn towards the tree. Even if they are just falling little outside the perimeter, they are so drawn towards the trunk of the tree. So that is Ankola Vriksha. It's very difficult to find this. Then if you see the needle and the magnet, so if you put a needle, so it's a group of needles, and then put a magnet there, how all the needles are drawn towards the magnet. And you see the just married couple, or the real couple, so who love each other, or maybe so they are like lover and beloved, how closely they are so attached to each other, so drawn towards each other. And then here is a creeper and twig which goes around the trunk of the tree. And then the rivers joining the ocean. So that is how the devotee's mind is drawn towards what he loves innately without his or her knowledge. Let me just read this verse. Ankolam nijabija santatirayas kantopalam suchika. Ankolam nijabija santatirayas kantopalam suchika. I have to in that. Ankolam nija bija santatirayaskantopalam suchika sadhvi naija vibhum latakshitiruham sindhusaridvallabham prapnotiha yatha tadha pashupate padaravindadvayam cheto vrittirupetya tisthati sada sa bhaktirityuchyate. So Ankolam nija bija santati. The bija seeds, how they go towards Ankola tree. Ayaskantopalam suchika. So suchika means needles, how they are drawn towards Ayaskanta magnet. Sadhvi naija vibhum. So the lover towards the beloved. Then lata kshitiruham, lata the creeper, kshiti ruham means tree, how they just turn around the tree trunk. Sindhu saridvallabham, Sindhu means nadi, river, how saridvallabham, the ocean, how they just reach. That is how my mind reaches your feet, O Shiva. So that is how bhakti is defined. Without your knowledge, you're drawn towards your Ishtadevata. So Ishtadevata Nishta. Ishtadevata Nishta is bhakti. Ankolam nijabija santatirayaskantopalam suchikam sadhvi naijavibham latakshitiruham sindhusaridvallabham prapnoti yatha tadha pashupate padaravindadvayam cheto vrittirupetyatisthati sada sa bhaktiryuchyate. That is what is bhakti. Now, next. Narada, he says, Yatha yat prapya, having attained this state, na kinchit vanchati, na shochati, na ramate, na utsahi bhavati. Nothing else interests him or her because he has tasted or she has tasted that nectar and nothing else is wanted. And there is no shoka, there is no moha. Yat jnatva matto bhavati, stabdho bhavati. Atma Ramo Bhavati. So like Matta, they are like childlike, they are like Mudha, like they are like Unmatta. So they are just so intoxicated and they're so still sometimes, having reached that stage. Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to go into this stillness. Then Atma Ramo Bhavati, they revel in their own self. Then we have two great devotees described in our Purana, knowing that Markandeya and also Kannappa, Bhakta Kannappa. In Sri Kalahasti, we see that, Bhakta Kannappa. And there's a great movie in Telugu, directed by Bapu. It's a nice movie, excellent movie if you have not seen. So here, Shankaracharya again gives so much of importance to this Bhakta Kannappa, who has done everything not so very right from our point of view. So he cleans the podium, the sanctorum, with his sandal. And then he does Abhisheka to Shiva by bringing water in his mouthful of water, because, when he was trying to bring with his hands and everything kind of drips away from in between the fingers, the gaps of the fingers. So then, and he is a hunter, so he hunts and then whatever he hunted, and then he tastes a little bit like sabari, and then he offers that. That Bhakta Kannappa is exalted and is remembered as one of the greatest of the devotees. And again in Sivananda Lahari, he says like this: Marga vartita paduka pashupate rangasya kurchayate. And he goes with sandals everywhere in the forest, and that sandal becomes the broomstick, kurchayate. Gandu Shambhu Nishechanam Puraripo Divyabhishekayate. That Gandu Shambhu, that Ambu water in Gandusha, so in the, like within his cheeks. So that is Divya Abhisheka, the great Abhisheka. Kinchit Bhakshita Mamsa Shesha Kabalam Navyopaharayate. And whatever is offered after tasting, and that is your great Naivedya. Bhakti kim karoti raho vanacharo bhaktavatam sayate. This vanachara, the one who roams in the forest, is called Bhaktavatamsa, the greatest of the devotees. Once more this shloka, easy to understand, isn't it? Margavartita paduka pashupate rangasya kurchayate gandu shambhu nishechanam puraripo divyabhishekayate kinchit bhakshita mamsa shesha kabalam navyopaharayate bhaktim kim karoti raho vanacharo bhaktavatam sayate. Now, I know only 20 minutes is left, but the idea is to introduce this concept of bhakti. And of course, we will do this when we do 12th chapter again after 11th chapter. So 11th chapter is Vishwarupa Darshana. So that God can be seen as Vishwarupa or Vishwatita in the universe. Ekatvena pruthatvena. You can see me as just that one ruling everything. or as any of your Ishta Devata, Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Shakti, Hanuman, so whoever you want, Ganesha, Skanda. And then, because in Vibhuti Yoga, again, so many examples are given, whomever you want, whomever you want to. I am Senani Nam Aham Skandaha. Rudranam Shankaraschasmi. Adityanam Aham Vishnuhu. So like that. Or, no, I don't want to worship any of these figures. Sthavaranam Himalaya. Of all the mountains, I am Himalayas. Asrotasam Asmi Jannavi. I am the river Ganges or Ganga among all the rivers. Or Vedanam Samavedosmi. Gayatri Chandasamaham, a mantra is given. So like that, so many vibhutis are given. No, I don't believe in all these also, but I want to go to the essence of what it is. In the 7th chapter again, Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashuryayoho. The light and splendor of sun and moon, I am, O Arjuna. The taste in the waters is me, O Arjuna. That is how Lord has given some clues from 7th chapter onwards. Aham kraturaham yajnaha swadaham aham aushadam mantroham ahame vajyam aham agniraham hutam. So many yajnas and hutam and whatever is offered, all this is me, O Arjuna, if you look at. Now Arjuna asks, obviously, okay, this is one that you described, but you also described there are two kinds of prakritis. So, bhumirapo nalo vayu khammano bhaktirevacha ahankara itiyam me bhinna prakriti rashtada. This eightfold prakriti, what we see, Mother Earth, fire, wind, God, all these, the great elements. But there is something which you cannot actually comprehend. So, apareya mitastvanyam. There is apara prakriti, para prakriti and apara prakriti. This is apara prakriti, what you see, but there is something beyond para prakriti, because of which everything is held. And now in Upanishads we say, yato vacha nivartante aprapya manasa saha. We just cannot go there, because our words are having gone there will return along with mind, because you cannot comprehend. How is it possible? Because it is Shrotrasya Shrotram. In Upanishads it said, it is eye of the eye. It is that which I cannot see, I means EYI, but because of which I can see. It is that which ears cannot hear, but because of which ears can hear. I hope you understand. I hope I'm not confusing you. So it is that the mind cannot think of, but it is that because of which mind can think. So now all this is kind of told so far. Now Arjuna asks, Evam satata yukta ye bhaktas pariyupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Oh Krishna, pardon me. Now, these two kinds of bhaktas are there, who worship you in the form with a name, and those who worship you, who think of you, aksharam, the imperishable, avyaktam, the unmanifest. So who is greater among these two? And see, Lord's question. The Arjuna's question was that, and Lord's answer immediately. Maya Veshyamano Yemam Nityayukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetaha Te Me Yuktatamamataha. There is no answer that this one is greater than this or this one is inferior to that. Whoever, O Arjuna, he or she, whose mind is fixed on my personal form or that akshara form, engaged in worshipping me always, but with Shraddha. Shraddha. So Shraddha means what? Shraddha means that it's not a blind faith. It is that faith within yourself, you know that that's what it is. So Rabindranath Tagore describes Shraddha as faith. Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings the light when the dawn is still dark. So at 3 a.m., you know that the sun is going to come. The Arunodayam is going to happen. Arunodayam. So Arunodayam, you have to see there is Kaun Banega Karodpati. So just see Arunoday and Amitabh Bachchan. That's a very lovely episode to watch. So Arunodayam happens before Suryodayam. But anyway, so faith is that bird. Faith is like a bird that feels the light and sings the light when the dawn is still dark. So that is faith, Shraddha. So Shraddha, Guru Vakyeshu, Shastra Vakyeshu, Shastravakyeshu Pragada Vishwasaha. So in scientific field, we actually say null hypothesis. We actually carry out research saying that these two are not related. But in Sanatana Dharma, we actually go just keeping that faith that this is what it is. So when Guru says Tat Tattvam Asi, we go with that and then practice and then realize that Aham Brahmasmi. So null hypothesis in science and full faith in philosophy or spirituality. So when science ends, philosophy begins. When philosophy ends, spirituality begins. And with spirituality, we mature and then bring it into the world as experience and experimenting the experience. So now, but Arjuna, this nameless and formless worship is so difficult because you see how people do this. And these people are, first, the people are explained. Who are they? Samniyamya Indriya Gramam. Niyamya, Samniyamya, Samyak, Sampurnena Niyamya. Yamya means controlling. Niyamya means Nishchayena controlling. Samniyamya means Sampurnena. See, I mean, how Vyasa uses the words. So, Yama comes because Yama is a controller. So, Yamya is controlling our senses. Okay. Then Niyamya means Nishchayena, with firm determination like Dhruva. Samniyamya, Sampurna, Samagra, always, Santatam. So that is Samniyamya. Indriya Gramam. Grama means village, but group of Indriyas. How many Indriyas? 10 Indriyas. 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Jnanendriyas. So 5 Karmendriyas, hands, feet, skin, and not the skin, sorry. Hands, feet, the tongue which speaks, and then reproductory and excretory organs. Then organs of perception, eyes, nose, ears, tongue again, which tastes. So that's why if you win over the tongue, you will win over the world. Jite rase jitam sarvam, they say. So jite rase jitam sarvam. And the skin for perception. So these are 10, 5 plus 5. So this Indriya Gramam, Samniyamya, then Sarvatra Samabuddhayah. Samabuddhi, that equipoise, that equanimity, that balanced mind. We all have, but not always. Sarvatra, not everywhere. Sometimes we do have at workplace, but sometimes we have it at home, but we sometimes bring the work emotions to home and then home emotions to work. And then, but these people are sarvatra, sarva kaleshu, everywhere, every time, with everyone. Samabuddhayaha. So these people. Then the third one, Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. They only think good of all beings. They only think Hite means good. Rata means they revel in just thinking of good of Sarvabhuta, all beings. So these people, then Aksharam. So they worship who? Aksharam, the imperishable. Anirdeshyam. Anirdeshyam is you cannot define. Then why are you trying to define, if it is Anirdeshyam? And Swami Chinmayananda, when he was a disciple of Tapovan Maharaj in Himalayas, that's a great place actually. So Uttarakasi. So it is Anirdeshyam, it is Achintyam, it is so difficult to explain in words. So when Chinmayananda Swami was told, he asked, then why are you trying to explain it to me with words? Then Tapovan Maharaj kept quiet, and then after a few days, he asked, Chinmaya, can you please go get me some water? And then, of course, the ashram is right on the banks of Ganges. It is one of the best experiences we had staying for 3 days in that ashram, right in front, Ganges, Ganga. So he goes, Swami Chinmayananda goes and then brings water in a kalasha. Then Tapovan Maharaj says, I asked you to bring water. Why did you bring kalasha? Then how can I bring water without kalasha? So the same way, even though it is indefinable, indescribable, cannot be expressed in words, we just try to tell as much as we can in words. It's called Shakha Chandra Nyaya. Shakha Chandra Nyaya means the Guru shows, can you see that branch? Yes, I can see. And then just above that branch, can you see that's, just the first day of the moon, the crescent of the moon. So that is how that much the Guru can point out. So Anirdeshyam, Avyaktam, unmanifest, Avyaktam. How do you see Avyaktam? So we know that from Atmanaha, Akasha Sambhutaha. From that Atma came Akasha. Akashat Vayu. From that Akasha came Vayu. Vayor Agni. From Vayu, Agni. Agner Apaha. From Agni, Apaha, waters. So Adbhya Prithvi. Prithivyam Oshadhayaha. Oshadibhyo Annam. Annad Bhavanti Bhutani. So this is how the order. Now we have to go backwards. We can go up to maybe Akasha. But then, so now how do we do this? So that's why all these need explanation. Okay. Bhutas we know. And we are born out of Earth. Prithvi Putras, we are all Prithvi Putris. That means we are made up of Earth. Earth has all 5 elements. All 5. So Earth has a little bit of fire in it, water in it, space in it, and then wind in it. So Earth has all the 5 qualities of all these 5 great elements. Earth's quality is smell. Then before Earth is water. Water's quality is taste. And then before water, it is Agni. Agni's quality is form. And then before that, it is wind. Wind's quality is touch. Then Akasha's quality is Shabda. So now if we go from Akasha, Akasha has got only one quality, that is Shabda. Then Akashat Vayu. Vayu has got Shabda and Sparsha. You can hear the wind and you can also feel. Then Vayu Agni. Agni has got those 2 qualities, Shabda, Sparsha and Rupa also, form. That's why Agni is worshipped, because it's the first element with a form. Then water. Water has got all those 3 qualities. What are they? Shabda, Sparsha, you can touch the waters. You can hear, when you go to Niagara Falls, you can hear the waters. And then Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, the form is there. And then Rasa, the taste. Then comes one more quality to Earth along with these 4 is Gandha. So Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. But if you go backwards, Akasha has got only Shabda. Then beyond Akasha, even that Shabda is not there, silence. So that is Avyaktam. So Sarvatra Gam, that is, Gam means going. Sarvatra means going everywhere. Sarva Vyapi. Achintyam, it's very difficult to think. Kutastham. Kutastham means it is a basis of everything. Like Kuta means unveil. So Kutastham. Achalam, it's never moving. And Dhruvam, it is always been there. And you have to meditate upon this. It is like meditating upon Swami Chinmayananda says, good eye. What is good eye? Good eye, it is not like cow. It is not like a lion. It's not like a serpent. It's not like a human. Now you have to neti, not this, na iti. Neti in Telugu means ghee, but neti is two words, na iti, not this, and then you go up to that. So that is very difficult because kleshaha adhikataraha tesham. Klesha means it's so difficult because we all have body. We are all embodied. Deha vadbihi kleshodhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham deha vadbhiravapyate. So because we have a body, we think that God also has a body. Because we have parents, we treat God as our parent. So that is how we think that, oh, Bill Gates is the richest, so God must be the richest person. And we think that, oh, Einstein is very, high intelligence. God must have even more intelligence. And that is how we actually come to this Shadgunas, Shadgunya Paripurita Bhagavan. We remember we talked about Bhagavan, Bhagashabda, Aishwaryasya Samagrasya, Dharmasya Yashashtaya, Jnana Vairagya Yoschaiva, Shanna iti Shanna Bhaga iti Irina. So Bhaga means these 6 great qualities. Always in full. And what are they once again? Samagra Aishwarya, Dharma, Yashas, Jnana, Vairagya. So, Aishwaryasya Samagrasya, Dharmasya Yashasya Shriyaha, Shriya, the Ashtalakshmi, all 8-fold Lakshmi, the riches. That is how it is expressed in a form. So, Ishta Devata Nishta, that's how it has come. So that Nirakara came into Sakara with Sukshma Rupa, then Vividha Rupa, then Vibhuti Yoga, and Vishwarupa, and this Sakara. So Nirakara to Sakara. From Arupa to Sukshma Rupa to Linga Rupa to Guru Rupa and to Uru Rupa. Uru means great Rupa. So Guru in the form of Guru also. And Linga means Lingyate Anena. This marks, this actually points towards that. So Swami Vivekananda says, it is like the alphabets. So we don't stop with alphabets. Sakara or Vigraharadhana. We want to go beyond alphabets to understand the language. And Swami Dayananda says, this Vigraha Radhana is like looking at the icons. You have to go beyond, you have to hit that icon to go beyond what is that icon is indicating. So that is how we say that. So now with this introduction, the 12th chapter goes how one can worship the God in a sopana, this DV Gundappa has written Jivana Dharma Yoga. He actually calls it Bhakti Sopana Yoga. So it is a krama, it is a ladder. Sopana means a ladder. It is described how one can develop this worship. Either worship in that worship that unmanifest, or worship the manifest, surrender to that manifested Brahman in Akara. Then how? Just surrender unto yourself. If that's not possible, for most of us it is not, then practice Abhyasa Yoga. So practice with a ritual which is given to you by your tradition, your parents, your ancestors or gurus. If that is difficult, If that is difficult, because that can be difficult. How many of us perform, Gayatri, Sandhya Vandanam 3 times a day? It's very difficult. Or so many other upasanas, the way it was taught to us. So it is very difficult. So abhyasa. If abhyasa is difficult, then do your work as God's work. Do your work as God's work. And then do God's work as your work. And God's work is what? God's work is the 2 things. You have to realize who you are, and you have to do good to the world. So protecting the environment, protecting Mother Earth, doing some good to the needy. So all these things. So God's work as your work, or your work as God's work. So do as karma yoga. Do your karma as karma yoga. No, that's also not possible. Just at the end of what you have done, you just say at the end of the day, I surrender unto you. All this unto you. All this unto you. Now unto Him. Then you'll be much at peace. And then after that, you have that eternal bliss. And that peace is what we want. So peace be, peace be, peace be. That's how we say. In the last 8 verses, so yeah, I'm not going into those 8 verses. They are Bhakta Lakshanas. So we will talk about them when we deal with 12th chapter. So these Bhakta Lakshanas are well understood if we go in an order after Sthita Prajna Lakshanas, the 18 verses in the 2nd chapter, then the Yogi Lakshanas in the 6th chapter, then Jnana Lakshanas when we come to 13th chapter, Jnani Lakshanas or Jnana Lakshanas, then Daivi Sampat in 16th chapter, then Trigunatita, the one who goes beyond or modulates and then so manages the 3 gunas, Trigunatita Lakshanas in the 14th chapter. Please don't get overwhelmed, okay? So all these are interrelated. So Bhakta Lakshanas are said in 7 verses. And then this is called Bhakti Saptakam, the 7 verses. Or if you include the 8th verse, that is Amrita Ashtakam, the 8 octad. So Amrita Ashtakam, so 8 verses. And they start with Adveshta Sarvabhutanam Maitra Karuna Evacha. I'm not sure whether Dr. Gopi is there. So this is what one of his teachers told him. This is enough for our lifetime. Adveshta Sarvabhutana Maitra Karuna Evacha. And Patanjali, he explains it in a very lucid way. So Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. Maitri, friendship with like-minded people. Maitri. Karuna, compassion towards the people who are inferior to you. And Upeksha towards the people who hate you for no reason. And then Mudita is being happy for the people who are greater than you. So Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. So Maitri for like-minded people, with like-minded people. Karuna towards a compassion towards the needy, the downtrodden, the unfortunate. Then Mudita, to be happy for the people who are successful. And then Upeksha is ignoring the people who don't like you for some reason or the other. So all this now, Krishnarpanam, unto Him. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. And then I'll stop sharing. And then we'll stop the recording.